Welcome to our BaseCamp barn project. I'm Brian, and in today's episode, we'll be framing up our shed. In our last episode, we prepped and poured our concrete. So come on, let's get to it. Let's start pounding some nails. Here we are on a very calm and quiet Tuesday morning, inspecting the concrete pour from yesterday. I'm going to pull the side braces off and the sideboards off here this morning. Well, these round steel stakes are a whole lot easier to remove than the wooden ones. The wooden ones have gotten wet and they're breaking down underground, so I'll just leave them buried. But the wooden ones, or the steel ones, came out wonderfully. So it's worth the extra money to use these steel posts to support your frame. So watch how easy it is to pop off your wood forms. Good morning. Today we're going to be building a couple of walls on our shed project. So let's hang out together and let's see if we can figure all this stuff out. Learn how to use a tape measure. First wall that we'll build is this back wall. It's the largest, longest, and we kind of build it as we go, or assemble it on this flat surface as we go. And so it'll stick out a little bit because the power panel is going to be in the way. Then we'll have to tip it up and slide it in place. So that's kind of the hardest first wall. And then we'll do this wall here, which is another large wall. And that'll make a nice corner, and we'll be able to brace it and be able to carry on with the rest of them. Framing is with 2x4s on 24-inch centers. I'm trying to align the studs in the support walls with the rafters that will be going in later. I've also got to account for the zip-R sheathing, which measures 1.5 inches thick. So I've also got to place studs at convenient seams in the sheathing. I think I got it worked out, mostly. I'm using basic construction adhesive to glue the frame walls to the concrete. It'll act as a bug barrier as well as a thin gap between the wood and the concrete to prevent moisture from being transmitted through. Along with the J-hooks, it will create a very solid bottom joint. Now get the level.
Ooh, come towards me a tad. That's good. That's
Check
right
another
there.
one. The bottom plate is pressure treated, and it's the same board that we used to frame the concrete with. I had a bunch of pressure treated good nails left over from another project, so we're using them up here. I didn't have a fresh gas cartridge for the Plasload. The nails weren't sinking properly, so I put a fresh gas cartridge on the list for the next trip to the hardware store. The rear wall is made from 8-foot tall studs, and the front wall will be made from 10-foot tall studs. This will make the roof slope being whatever it is between those two studs. I think it turns out to be about 2.5 inches per foot. Using a little hand clamp like this is really a good way to straighten out a twisted 2x4. We had a windstorm come up last night right when we were tipping up this other wall, the second wall. So we had to kind of hurry and cut it off any recording, but here's our second wall. We can go back far enough to see it. There's our second wall. And went to the hardware store again last night after the storm passed and got some more lumber. And now we're got the garage door wall mocked up, about ready to start screwing it together, and we'll tip it up here in a little bit. And I got enough lumber for all the rest of the walls. I should be able to get there today. The only question I got is what size door are we going to put in here at the man door side. So we might have to go to the store and just see what they got before I mock that up. I'd like to be a 30-inch door. It just depends. We got to see what they got at the store, because I'm not waiting 6 months for a freaking door. But that's probably the last wall to go up. I'll do the far one here next, just to help secure this wall. And then we'll probably do the electrical panel wall. And we'll do this door here wall last to tie it all together. I'll probably go shopping probably tonight for all the lumber for the roof. I might need another ladder, so it might be a 2-trip for ladders and such. But nonetheless, here's our progress for the day. We'll be screwing this together here today and tipping it up and making another one. So I'm using my second top plate as a guide here for the bottom, just to get all these pieces in the right spot. See, I got marks and marks and marks. We're 1.5 inch trim piece to make it an 8-foot door. We're 1.5 inch tall on the top, 1.5 inch here, mark, mark, mark. They all tie together up there. So we're about ready to start banging it together. Notice the hole in the bottom plate for the J-hook. All the J-hooks in the slab were good except for one. I missed the edge of the man door, but it was because we used a 36-inch wide door instead of a 30-inch wide door. Day 6 in the project. The last wall is going up. Everything else is turning out pretty good. Everything's square, everything's plumb. Pretty happy with it. We got a door, so we have our door frame figured out. The frame for the garage door is good. So we're all good. Here we go. Put the last wall up. I used screws in all the corners and any other location I felt I might screw up. I figured it'd be easier to remove a screw than to cut a nail. As it turns out, I did pretty good. I only had one area where I screwed up. To the left of the door there, I made an inside corner instead of an outside corner, so I had to fix that. By the way, I think the way I assembled all the corners are called California corners. Good morning, day 7 on the shed build. Got all the walls up. We did that yesterday. We went to the store and found a door for our entry, and I got a truckload of roof rafter parts. So it's roof rafter day today. Roof rafters. So we'll get the big ladder out, open up the big ladder to get up there. We got the big ladder and a step stool. We should be able to get rafters up. So that's the challenge for the day, get the rafters in. Nice. Nice.
Yes.
There we are. Last roof piece in. We used 2x8s for all the rafters and the rim boards. One little mix up. I tried to match up the roof trusses with the wall joists, and on this side I got it perfect. But on this side I missed it by 3.5 inches because I forgot to measure for this thickness of the wall. So I'm off 3.5 inches both sides up there. Not a big deal, just figure it out next time. I just got to finish doing all the hurricane brackets. I've got them temporarily kind of set. I'll have them up here too. And then I have some other brackets to put in. On all the sides. As far as I'm concerned, the framing is done. I guess I got to put some boards. I got them triangulating right now. inside here like I did with this door. So see here, I got 2x4 walls, but I'm going to have 1.5 inches of Zip R9 siding. It's not siding, sheathing. I'm going to have 1.5 inches of Zip R sheathing here. So I furred out the doorway so that the sheathing will come up and be right here. This is 2 inches. And then my siding is going to go, it'll be within 1/4 inch of where this is. So we'll see what it all works out to once we all get there. But I get a nice edge here we can tape to. I'm going to do the same thing on the garage door jamb, is I'll have it out 2 inches. And then we'll have a flat piece on the back side, you know, 2x8 going all the way up. That way we can have a nice good place to mount the door hardware. Here it is Monday morning. 1 week ago Monday we poured the concrete. So this is day 8. If you want to call it day 8 in the shed build. I'm hoping to get a call from Alpine Lumber for sheathing today. So I can go pick it up at least today, and then we can start sheathing tomorrow. And that'll really help square it up. I don't think it's too far out any which way. That was a pretty good project. But we got all the hurricane strips tied in, top and bottom. I got a few strips on the perimeter boards to kind of hold everything in. So anyway, that's a morning's work. I'm gonna start working on some other things here. With the framing complete, we're gonna finally get into some cool stuff. Next episode is all about core vent, Sigatape, and Zip R sheathing. Stay tuned. Whoa, whoa, whoa.